Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing another tutorial. It's going to be doing this kind of like stepped cube Boolean mesh thing we're seeing right now. I was seeing this on my Instagram feed / TikTok reels. I thought it was kind of cool and it would be a good example of repeat zones as well as a few different things. So let's jump right into it. We're in the basic scene. We're going to jump right into the geometry nodes. So we click on the cube and we'll do a new geonodes group. We're going to cut the group input because we just want to do all of it on that mesh. Nice, we're gonna make a repeat zone. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna use cubes and we're gonna drive the cubes. And then we're gonna do this kind of mesh Boolean sequence in the repeat zone. So we're gonna do a cube. And what we wanna do is we wanna take like this cube right here, right? And we're gonna wanna also shift it over time and cut out the middle part. So how can we do that? We make another cube and we do a mesh Boolean. And then if this, we do a value node to control both of them. Boom, boom. We say 1. And then we're going to do a math node. And we're going to say subtract by 0.2. So we see this one's a bit smaller, right? So this one goes into here. And then now we see the middle part, the middle cube inside of it is cut. So we can have this nice kind of instance set of cubes going through. This is the main idea. So when it comes to choosing the values, let's quick think about the sizing of everything. Let's think about this. If we want to have this cut out correctly, right? If you want to have from here to here, we know is 1, right? We want to cut out this middle cube and have a bit of an even edge. Let's say it's a 0.1 edge. From here to here is 0.1. Then this is going to be 0.8, right? So then we take 1, we minus 0.2 and divide that by 2 because we have it on each side, and that's going to be a 0.1 border around everything. So then if we scale it, and let's say we want to have another kind of 0.1 border here, and a 0.1 border here, then a new cube around it, we got to add 0.2 again. So that's kind of the general thinking of how we're going to do this. Let's put it into the repeat zone and see what happens. So we're going to do a join geometry. We're going to pop this in. And then we're going to also add in this value node here. And then that's going to go here. And so then we have all of this piping through. We also want to increase the value over time. So if we go like this, say add, say 0.2, pop it in. Let's see if this works. Is it working? No, not quite. Something got messed up. Let me think really quick. So, yes, because for each iteration, we got to also add here. So we want to go like this. And then that's going to go right here. Boom. I think this works now. Pop it up. Nice. Kind of getting this like 4D cube tesseract effect, which is pretty cool. And we're having the even instancing. So it's not by scaling, it's by just even adding this displacement on the cube overall size. And then we're summoning up all these mesh booleans over time from inside out. That's kind of what's happening. So let's look at this again one more time to see the math of everything. So we're taking an initial value for the like middle cube. We're saying 1, right? Inside that cube, we're then adding 0.2 to make a bigger one and subtracting 0.2. Does this make sense? Yes. So then this would be, I think we don't need to have this actually. So it's just this value is going in both. So let's actually cut this off. My bad. So this should go like this. Perfect. There we go. Now the math is right. Cool. Now let's check this effect. I just realized I had the math slightly off. It could work at that as well, but it'll just be shifted a little differently. Now it looks like everything is even. Perfect. Even cubes is looking good. So we're taking in the starting value. We're subtracting 0.2 to have two different cube shapes like this and that, right? And we're subtracting the 2 to get this inner kind of cube and then doing it over time. And then when we're taking that same value again, we're translating it by adding 0.2 again to kind of shift it over. And the idea of the 0.2s, again, is because we want to have all of these be 0.1s. So we have 0.1, 0.1, 0.1. And we have to do 0.2 because there's a left and a right-hand side. So now we have this base effect done. And then to kind of show you how it looks outside of the repeat zone, we can then cut it again. So let's cut it here, mesh Boolean. And let's just do a cone. Counts like that. Let's do a transform geometry. Rotate it on the Y. Let's say 180. Let's make it bigger. Let's pull it up a little bit. Let's cut it in. If I do this, cut. And then if we pull it down, okay, we're getting a bit of errors because we don't have this beforehand. We're gonna want to extrude the mesh. So we're gonna say extrude mesh. We're gonna do on the faces. On not on individual, all the faces, and say minus 0.1. Now we have this tiny little bit of face extrusions, and then we're seeing some clean cuts. That's what we want to see. Maybe make the starting cube even smaller and increase the iteration count. Nice. So X-ray mode, we're seeing the cone cut in, and we're seeing that starting cube be quite small. Get 0.2 actually. Now it's actually almost like perfect. 0.2 and have it like this big. Cool. Nice. So we're having it cut through. And then if we look at this, we pull it up and down, see it dynamically cut the mesh. Cool, cool. That is the main base effect. And then what we want to also do is shade it smooth. So we got to do a special way, because if we just do right click, shade auto smooth, nothing's happening, right? We're not getting this kind of angle working because we have this geometry node system. So inside the geometry node system, what we can do is make our own kind of shade auto smooth. We do set shade smooth, set shade smooth. We're gonna do it twice. And then from here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna choose which faces are gonna be smooth. So what we can do is we do a edge angle. Oops. And then we're gonna do the unsigned angle. We're gonna do greater, or I guess compare node. And we're gonna do greater than. We're gonna do a math node because it's looking for radians. And we're just gonna say 2 radians, and we're gonna say like 30 degrees. Pop this in, pop this in. And now these edges right here are shaded smooth, so we can see how this looks, right? So if we mute this, now we're getting that nice shade smooth, which is looking pretty cool, right? So everything greater than 30 degrees is being not shaded smooth with this right here. That's what that does, and then this is shading everything smooth. That's and then with these two combinations of nodes, you basically are able to have still having sharps on things greater than 30, or I guess, yeah, greater than 30 degrees, they'll be sharp, and things less than 30 degrees angles wise will be shaded smooth. That's why we're getting this nice kind of gradient, which looks pretty good. Cool. So that's the main kind of effect right there. And then to do a really easy shader to kind of get some colors on it, what we're gonna do is we're going to store a named attribute. And actually, guys, I don't know if you know a better way of doing this. I was trying to do it inside the repeat zone, but I wasn't getting the attribute to go into the I wasn't getting the attributes to go into the shader editor for some reason. So here's kind of my hacky solution. So store named attribute. Let's do face data. Face data, and it's going to be an integer. We're going to do mesh island. Mesh island index. Pop it in. Look at the face data. Where is this? Mesh island. And we have 0 to whatever it is, 10, 9, 1 less than the overall iteration count. So what we can do is take the attribute statistic, and we say plug this in, pop it in here, I guess. Mesh island, integer, let's do face. And then we can do another sort name attribute. We can say the max, island max, pop that in. So it's just 10 is the max, which makes it easy. Cool. So then we can use that to drive the shader editor. We can do a set material, that material, then we're gonna go to material for the shading workspace. And then we're gonna say attribute, geometry nodes, Control C, copy it, paste it in, and then we know it's max for the other one. Fantastic. So off of this, we're seeing a nice gradient, which means we have all of that being chosen. Off of this, we should have one color, like a mega bright white, because that's just how it will be because it's over 1. So we're gonna do a map range, have this go in, and this max is gonna be here. And now we have a really clean map range every single time. And then from here, what we can do is just put into a color ramp, pop it in, pop it in. And then what we can do is make it a bit more crunchy. Maybe just do 3 colors, make it easy. Let's do red and orange. And have it actually flipped, maybe. No, I think it's nice like this, actually. Let's do easing, just to change the colors. Cool. Awesome. So then if we take this, and if we animate the Z position, we can get a really nice effect of this kind of cutting through everything. So that's kind of the main effect overall. Let's just go over it one more time. So what we do is we have a repeat zone. We're taking 2 cubes and we're defining it by a certain value, and then we're offsetting the overall size of the cubes based off of the overall value and doing a mesh Boolean between them in order to kind of make these self-replicating, or like in order to make these recursive kind of like cutout hollow cubes. So from there, we're joining all that geometry and we're making sure to add the same value we're going through for that 0.2. I guess this can go right here if we want it to be all the same. Makes it super easy, super clean. And then from there, we're extruding the meshes like a really small amount in order to make those kind of hollow little, meshy cubes have a little bit of thickness. We're doing another mesh Boolean to kind of highlight these beautiful layers we made by cutting it out. I think a cone looks nice. I kind of arbitrarily made the cone. And then from there, we are taking the mesh islands to get a value of all these unique cuts inside this kind of like cube cake we made. And then we are getting the max range of it as a driver in order for us to make the effect a bit cleaner. After that, we're just kind of setting materials and using this little node group in order to have set shade smooth inside geometry nodes. That's kind of the overall effect right there. And then in the shader workflow, we're literally just calling those attributes, putting into a map range, and then just piping it through. Really quite straightforward. This project file will be on my Patreon, so feel free to grab it. It's going to be a free project like most of my tutorials. All you gotta do is follow to get it. And if you have any questions, definitely comment in the YouTube video. I kind of respond to everything. Please engage and give any kind of feedback. It's really, really helpful. I hope that you learned something, and I hope you found this useful. Feel free to, stick around or not. Either way, I appreciate you and hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Augury.